Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday. My name is Macy. I'm the founder of Autism Career Pathways, and my guest today is Evan. I have known Evan since he was 4 years old, and we work together. And go ahead, Evan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey everyone. So my name is Evan Hartono, and currently I'm a student at Mercyhurst University in Erie, Pennsylvania, where I have been majoring in graphics design, and I will be graduating in December of 2020.
Well,
And
thank you so much for telling us about exciting things in your life and your accomplishments. So let's chat about our topic today, which is, should we, as parents, should we or should we not disclose our family members' diagnosis? So that's a very, very important topic because for Asian people, we tend to be very private about any type of diagnosis or what's happening within our family. And yet I feel like if we're not open about it, and the world is not going to understand what is neurodiversity or people living with different diagnoses. So your family has always been so open about your diagnosis of autism. Do you remember about the beginning of your journey? Can you tell us some examples? What do you remember before and after knowing your diagnosis of ASD?
so before I became aware of my ASD diagnosis, so I remember how I often was unable to control my emotions, especially how I got so angry very easily.
Mm-hmm.
And also I would often panicked and did not know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So then again, I would often lose my temper to other people. However, that all changed when my mom ultimately revealed the truth to me about my ASD diagnosis, and that ultimately and then when I got to know about the diagnosis, at first I was shocked because of how I got to learn the truth about myself. So basically a piece of the truth regarding the person, regarding why I am the person I am.
Yeah.
And ultimately when I became a college student, then that was when I was able to fully embrace myself as a person and even accept that autism, it can become a genuine gift.
That's right. That's right. So I remember you were, I think, in high school when your parents and I, as their parent coach, decided that it was time to sit down with you and disclose your diagnosis. So we sat down, and do you remember what we told you and what to do to learn more about ASD? Do you remember that point?
So something that I recall you guys telling me about ASD diagnosis is simply how I should ask you or even my parents about the diagnosis and not look up anything on the internet because of reliability.
Right. That's right. There's a lot of information, too much information on the internet, social media today. And we wanted to just keep everything in the open, and we wanted you to know any questions that you might have to just come to us instead of looking on the internet. I think that's very, very important to all parents. Should, I guess, setting the boundaries to their neurodiverse teen to come to mom and dad first, or come to your counselor first if you have any questions, instead of asking your friends or going to social media, because it could be a scary thing, right? Yeah. So that was how we help you learn about ASD. So after you know about your diagnosis, what changed?
So speaking of changes that happened after I after I learned about the ASD diagnosis from you guys, something that significantly changed for me is simply the way I view myself. And also I learned about how this ASD diagnosis is the one that's sparking creativity and talent inside myself. And
That's
also
right.
how this ASD diagnosis, as it took me beyond on my journey to future years, then ultimately it's where I was able to learn more about myself and really embrace myself as a unique and gifted person.
That's right. So knowing that you are autistic gave you a new, deeper level of understanding about yourself
Yep.
and just more outline, I guess, to know, just like anyone else, actually, that these are traits that I need to change. These are my strengths. These are my weaknesses. And I think that helped you to just keep going forward.
Yep. And also another change that I can highlight about this ASD diagnosis, when I learned the truth about it, was simply how it changed the way I view life, because of how it helped me to view life in a much more positive manner.
That's right. That's right. Well, speaking to being such a positive person, Afan, I think your parents, ever since I knew them, even when you were little, uh, they were always so positive. They were the most positive parents I could ever ask to work with. And I think that was, it made a big difference, I think, for you. So can you talk about your mom and dad and what you remember of them, like raising you, how they were with you?
So speaking of my parents, I really remember how my parents, they always pushed me in life, and even they continue to believe in me no matter what. And for me, that's such an amazing thing, how their belief in me really led me to doing great things in life, and to pursue and
Yeah,
have the courage to pursue the things that I love, and be able
right.
to step out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. Your parents just let you be in terms of doing what you love the most,
That
which has been your art, your paintings.
and number
Uh,
two is and number two is simply how they wanted to challenge me to become the best version of myself. And
yeah.
for that, I found that to work really well between myself and my parents.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. They did not just make sure that you were always comfortable. They always believe that there is what's next for F1, even though you didn't know how to do it. But they always have a vision. They're always ahead of you a little bit and kind of nudge you towards that direction, even though you didn't know how to do it. So that's
Yep.
really awesome. And now you know how to do that yourself. You have a
Yep.
goal, even though you don't know how to do that. You will eventually get there. So that's the challenge. Like your parents challenge you because they believe that you could do it. That was so incredible.
That's agreed. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you for
Uh-huh.
that.
Yes. So I guess the big question to wrap this up is, if, let's say there is this couple who has a young child with autism spectrum disorder diagnosis, what advice would you give to this mom and dad? Should they or should they not tell this child of the diagnosis?
If a mom and dad who are raising an autistic son or daughter, if those two parents came to me and asked that question, then my first piece of advice would be for them to tell their kid at the right time, specifically when that child is in their teenage years. Because I feel that if those parents told the kid when those kids are still youngsters, then it's going to be too soon and too
Too
quick.
young,
And
right?
and therefore those kids, they would not understand at first. And I feel that it's that those kids, they're going to be scared more easily.
Right. So choosing the right time and making sure that their child doesn't hear the word from, or somebody like at school, a friend asking them, labeling them, maybe bullying them. So hopefully parents can disclose their diagnosis first in a gentle way and just keep working together as a family, right? So that was the
Yep.
approach your family had, that your family always tell you, we're in this together. And
Yep.
right, so that was so amazing. Yeah.
And number two for that question would be for the parents to continuously believe in the kids no matter what, and be able to push those kids to having a positive future and ultimately a positive outcome of themselves and the kids' life.
Label or no label, diagnosis or no diagnosis, that's our job as parents. So thank you so much, Evan. I hope that your stories and your tips would be helpful to parents.
Well, thank
So
you very much, Macy, for your time. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
yeah, we have to do it again. It's fun. You take care. Bye, everyone.